Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning training sessions. We know it's Friday because we're here doing something. Otherwise, we'd wake up and wonder what day it is after, 60 days on lockdown, and we're all going crazy. In the beginning, every time we sneezed, we thought we were sick. Now we just want to get out of the house into the sunshine. So I'm glad you're here. Raise your hands if everyone can hear me okay. Make sure the sound is working. Okay, great. Great. Thank you so much. So today you're in for a treat. David Marks, our digital media specialist, is going to talk about LinkedIn best practices. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little poll to see how many, there you go, of you actually have business profiles in LinkedIn, not just a personal one, but a business one. We'll just give it a few seconds for you guys to do your voting. Everyone's getting to be such an expert here on voting and on Zoom meetings. I'm so impressed. Okay, I am going to end the polling and share the results. And look at this. Almost 70% of you do not have a business profile. And one of the things we're talking about today is a business piece of LinkedIn. So we're not talking about how to create a profile. We're going to talk about LinkedIn best practices. So I am going to stop this. I am going to stop sharing my screen, David, so that you can get started.
Yep.
Let me make sure that
Host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. I apologize profusely.
It's okay.
My security tab has disappeared.
That's
Yeah.
interesting and problematic.
Oh, here it is. I got it. Found
Okay,
it.
good.
There we
That
go.
was a little scary. Okay, now let me share my screen with you all. Give me 1 second. There we go.
That's okay. I'm just getting all of my chat. Before you start, I forgot to say, as we go through, David's going to pause for questions and answers. Please type your questions into the Q&A portion so that we can get back to them. And I'm done talking, David. Sorry.
Sounds good. I can start. Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome. I know for some of you, this may be the third time you're hearing my voice, and I apologize for that. It's not the best thing, but you're stuck with me. So what are you going to do? So today we're going to talk about LinkedIn best practices. First thing I want to talk about is the profile. Step back. Before we go into pages best practices, I wanted to talk about your personal profile posting best practices. So the first thing that I like to recommend is, if you have an account on LinkedIn, if you don't, I recommend getting one, is to post quality content. And this goes true for basically all social media platforms. You want to post content that is relevant to your network. Always consider who you're trying to reach and what they may be interested in. This varies from individual to individual, from company to company. You kind of want to pick out your ideal customer or ideal customer and kind of tailor your messaging to them. The second thing is, for your personal profile, use the first person when you post. Because this is a personal profile, use me and I, as they tend to have higher engagement rates on personal profiles. Third idea is to share content. So just like you would on a website or Facebook, sharing high quality content from others is actually an easy way to get people to engage with your content, as well as share what others are doing. The fourth one, may be the most beneficial to you all in your personal profiles, is to join and post on LinkedIn groups. There are probably thousands of LinkedIn groups out there, each dedicated to different services, different organizations, all sorts of different content. And I would recommend exploring LinkedIn groups because it's a great way to get your content out there, as well as interact with people who are in a similar field as you. And the fifth idea that I have for you is to leverage mentions. So for those who don't know, mentions is when you add this little @ sign. I know there's a symbol, but a name for it, but I can never remember. Use that to kind of tag or mention other people. so that not that they're forced to interact with you, but they are more likely to engage with your content. If there's someone in your field who's highly respected and well established on LinkedIn, it wouldn't be a bad idea to mention him or her every now and again. So with that portion being done, we will go into business pages. So think of LinkedIn business pages analogous to Facebook pages. LinkedIn business pages allows an institution, business, organization, or company to showcase industry updates, job opportunities, and information about life at their organization. Employees can show their employment at the organization as well as interact with the brand. This is LinkedIn's business page. You can follow it because it's such a big company. A lot of people tend to follow it. 11 million followers. And as I had mentioned, you could see the different employees on LinkedIn. And this is a good that work for LinkedIn. And this is good strategy to keep moving forward because your employees can be your best advocates. So if you create content that your employees can share, that's more likely to increase engagement on your business page. And now we're going to watch this quick little video. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear the sound, probably not, but you don't really have to. So just watch for a second. So I'm not sure if you could hear the music, but it didn't really matter anyways. It was pretty sad elevator music, but this gives you an idea of what LinkedIn pages are capable of. Lately, LinkedIn has done an excellent job of kind of beefing up their LinkedIn pages and just their general platform. For a while, LinkedIn was just kind of something where you would post different traits about yourself, connect with people, and have a business page. And there wasn't many actions you can do. Over the past few years, though, I think probably after Microsoft took them over, they kind of really beefed up what you can do on the platform. So highly recommend that if you do not have a business page for your business, I would recommend setting one up. But before you begin, ensure that a page doesn't already exist for your organization. So you don't want to create duplicates. LinkedIn has a nice little search feature that if you search for your name in the search bar, it'll more likely pop up if you already have one. Before you create a LinkedIn page, you need to create a LinkedIn profile with your first name and last name, and then confirm that email associated with LinkedIn account. Okay. Do we have any questions so far, Virginia?
So while you take a moment to type your questions into the Q&A portion, I'm going to ask you a question, David.
Sure.
When you said at mentions, I think
Yes.
I might want to define it. When you say at, you use at symbol, and the mentions means the person or the other person you want to do. Aren't doing literally at mentions. You're doing it at David Marks. At
Sorry.
Virginia
Yes.
Weisskopf.
Yeah.
I just wanted
It
to
was a
define
little.
this for people.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you're not doing at MENTIONS. You're doing a little at sign plus somebody's name or a business organization or anything along those lines. You could do at mention, but I don't think it would get you very far.
So you're going to do at LinkedIn if you want LinkedIn to notice or you want to mention them, or
That
at
is correct.
Microsoft. Yeah. Okay. I have no questions at this time, but thank you for defining that. Oh,
Yep,
wait,
no
I take it
problem.
back.
All right.
Wait,
Up, up,
wait.
up.
Is your business page completely separate from your personal? Do you create it through your personal page or separate from
So
it?
just like, sorry.
Go ahead.
So just like Facebook pages, it is from your personal account. You are an admin on the account, just like you are an admin on a Facebook page, but it is separate from your personal profile. It's something that you create through your profile. But let's say for whatever reason you're done with LinkedIn, you don't want to be on there anymore, and you want to get off of it. You can get off of it, but the business page will still be up as long as it has another admin. So yes, two separate different things.
That's it for now.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so the first step in creating a LinkedIn page, if your organization doesn't already have one, and looks like some of you don't have one already, is to
70%.
visit the above address. So if you go to 70%, www.linkedin.com/company/setup/new, that will give you the ability to create a business page. They make it super simple in that they highlight what you need to do in order to have the most success. All you need to do is follow the steps on each web page to create the business page. I'm not going to go too much into creating the page today. LinkedIn does a pretty good job of kind of outlining where to go, but I did want to just mention that's the website that you go to create the page. So, LinkedIn best practices for your business page. The first thing you need to do is to complete your page. It's not just good enough to put a profile picture up there and then leave everything blank, or put the overview up there and then don't touch anything else. Pages with complete information get 30% more weekly views, so pretty significant number. First thing you need to do is make sure your company logo is here. They're added to your business page. One thing that you can do if your company doesn't even have a logo is going back to Canva. You can use Canva to create a logo. You can also use Canva to create a cover image. They tend to have the correct image dimensions ready to go for you, as we had mentioned in previous webinars. Overview, that's relevant terms and phrases that describe your organization's mission and purpose. LinkedIn members can search by keywords. So what that means, this thing right here, is that let's say someone's interested in the field of, oh, I don't know, nonprofits, and you wanted to include the phrase nonprofit in your overview, because when people search for nonprofits in this little search bar up here, they're more likely to come across your business page. Organization info, add your website right here, and URL and location, and then select your industry. For this example, it's marketing and advertising, and company size, just a general ballpark of how many employees you have. And then you can add your business address as well. The only other thing I want to mention on best practices for this is always add a call to action. So let's say someone wants to go to your business page and you want them to either email you or visit your website. You can do that on this call to action button right here, which for Golden Phase is contact us. Customize your button to align with your goals and track who's clicked in the admin view or in visitor analytics. So moving on, if you see this right here, this is a graphical representation. It's actually to scale of the different engagement levels that they have on LinkedIn. And let me explain this a little bit better. So let's say you do just a very basic text post for your business page. No images, no video, nothing, just basic text. You get this small little dinky amount of engagement. So let's say you add an image to the same message that you had posted with this comment. You would get 2 times higher comment rate, which is why it's 2 times bigger than the text. Video, if you were to replace the image with a video with this comment, you would get 5 times more engagement. And live video gets 24 times more engagement than a basic text post. Now, a word of caution with live video. Be sure you're comfortable with the concept of streaming, because if you're not 100% sure of what you're doing, you could end up showing video of you not being ready to broadcast. And it's just better if you know exactly what you're doing with live video before you pursue it. With that being said, once you are comfortable with it, I highly recommend it, because of this fact that it gets 24 times more engagement than, say, a basic text post. A good example of what you can do with live video is kind of behind the scenes looks. So if you have a headquarters, you could show them kind of what goes on in the back end of your office, all that kind of stuff. Or introduce your employees, have an employee of the week, sort of that thing. Okay, now posting best practices. One thing you can do with LinkedIn is you can upload documents. So instead of just printing out different or posting different comments on separate posts, you can upload PDFs or PowerPoints to showcase what makes your brand unique. You can also offer kudos, which apparently is an official term of LinkedIn. This would be to spotlight employees to help humanize your brand. Also a good strategy to kind of showcase your employees and put a face to what you all do. Okay, content suggestions. So what you can do is, let's say you're in the marketing field and you wanted to search for different marketing articles that have been really popular on LinkedIn in the past week. You can target the search by different features. For example, you could target by page followers, employees, the industry, the location, job function, seniority, and you'll see what is most popular for that selected audience. So that'll give you an idea of what is doing really well on LinkedIn and kind of what you can mimic or improve upon moving forward. Here's the little @mentions thing. This highlights the best of your brand. You can highlight the best of your brand by resharing mentions from employees, executives, and key customers. User-generated content is something that has always done very well in the social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. And essentially what I mean by user-generated content is stuff that your customers or users are producing. Kind reviews, sharing kind reviews from your customers or people your business has interacted with is a great way to get the word out about everything good that your company does. And you'll find that in the mentions portion of the social notifications on your business page. Again, don't do @mentions. I don't think it would get you very far. Hashtags. Hashtags are a great way to expose your brand to a wider audience. For those of you who do not know, hashtags kind of offer a basic summary of what you are talking about on a post. And they kind of are a way to organize similar thoughts together. So if you see here on this post, we're looking forward to streaming on hashtag LinkedIn Live from hashtag Davos this year. Don't forget to tune in. Hashtag WEF, hashtag digital transformation, hashtag innovation. This is a great way to get your content seen and out there. I wouldn't go much more than 5 hashtags because then it starts to look like you're just spamming people and trying to do things for the content and to get people to click. But 3 to 5 is a good range to organize different hashtags on. Targeting. So if you know your audience is, let's say, top level executives who live in the Chicagoland region, you can target your particular post to those people. So you could target based on seniority, based on industry, based on the region. This will help your content be more likely to be seen by the people you want it most to be seen by. Any questions?
So there was a lot of information there, David.
Yeah.
While the attendees type questions in, I have a couple of them for you.
Sure.
When you talked on the profile and put up a cover page, how
Yes.
often how often would you recommend changing that cover page?
So best practices is usually 3 to 4 months, unless your brand is known for your particular cover image. Best practices usually dictates changing your cover image every 3 to 4 months. So it's about 3 to 4 times per year.
So once a quarter would be a good
Yes.
rule of
Yep.
thumb. Okay. The
Exactly.
other one, when you talked about searching for companies, when you were
Hmm.
looking for your company name,
Yep.
can you talk a little bit about similar company names and what it means that you put a company name out there and then employees from that different company show up in your profile?
So I'm not sure of the question. Can you repeat it?
So let's say there's another Weiskopf Consulting, and
Hmm.
I put it up as Weiskopf Consulting, and when I do that, then people who are not my employees are now attached and show in there. And that's
Yes.
why it's so important, right, to have a definite company name that's
Yes.
different.
To have a definite company name that's different, and also that you are linking to the correct page. So one good way to kind of differentiate yourself from, let's say, another Weiskopf Consulting is to have a definitive URL which you can define, and then sharing that URL with your employees to make sure they are connected to the right page.
And you, as the business owner, have the right to take employees off that are not yours, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, there's a question up, but I'm going to finish a couple of mine. One, when you showed the call to action,
Hmm.
I think that we should talk about the fact that it shouldn't be too generic. Contact us is very generic. When you put up a call to action, you want it to be something unique, correct? Because you said you've got the
Correct.
document. Yeah.
But the only thing is, you are only given a pre-fixed amount of different call to action buttons that you can choose from. This isn't something where you are able to input, let's say, call us at 847
Okay.
blah 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 blah. You are given contact us, and a couple of different options, visit our webpage, that kind of thing, and you have to choose from those individual choices that they give you.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yep.
And when you talked about the live video,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone loves live content, on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, you can upload a video and premiere it just like it's going live. Is that an
Mm-hmm.
option in LinkedIn?
Not yet. They're still working on
Okay.
that. I'm assuming that it'll be here by the end of the year, because LinkedIn it tends to be a follower on certain trends. So once Facebook, and which you can do with Facebook too, once Facebook and YouTube do it, give it a few months, maybe 6 months before LinkedIn has it.
Okay, we do have one question, and it goes back to the at mention. At the
Sure.
end of talking about at mentions, you said something like, don't use mentions, not sure what you meant.
Okay.
You meant
So
it literally, yeah.
yeah. So let me show you. Fail. Hold on. 1 sec. So you see this little at mentions thing. Um, don't What I'm essentially saying is, don't type in this little character followed by MENTIONS. You want to type in at, and let's say LinkedIn, or let's say you want to tag me, you would type at Dave Marks. You wouldn't type in at mentions. That's all I meant by that.
Because you're mentioning their name.
Yes. Yep.
That's all I have right now.
Okay. On we go. So, ways to grow your audience on LinkedIn. The first thing you could do is add a follow button on your website. You can gain page followers directly from your website using this button that can be found on LinkedIn. You do need to know a little bit of coding to do so, so I would recommend talking to your website master to do it. But it's a good way when people are visiting your website that they know that they can follow you on LinkedIn and then complete the action to do so. Community hashtags. Associate up to 3 hashtags with your page in order to enter the feeds and react and comment from the perspective of your brand, exposing your name to a wider, more relevant audience. This is kind of what general hashtags you can use that describes your company. For example, for this company, it's International Women's Day Marketing and Advertising Strategies. Also on LinkedIn, offers employee notifications. So let's say you have a big company announcement that you want your employees to share. You can notify the employees of your most important page posts up to one time per week to boost organic reach and engagement. So let's say you have a whole bunch of employees who work with you. You can notify them that you have a post that you'd like them to share and engage with. This is a relatively new feature, invite to follow. So you can invite your first degree profile connections, and I'll explain that in a second, to follow your LinkedIn page to grow your organization's community. Facebook offers something similar, so people who interact with a Facebook post from a page, if they do not already like your page, you have the opportunity to invite them. Instagram, LinkedIn is doing something similar with that, with first degree connections. And what do I mean by first degree connections? So in LinkedIn, there are 3 levels of connections: first degree, second degree, and third degree, third plus. First degree is someone you have connected with, meaning you have sent them an invitation or they have sent you an invitation to connect. Think of it along the lines of a Facebook friend. So they requested for you to be their connection, or you requested them to be your connection, and now you are connections. Second degree is who that friend of yours on LinkedIn, what's in their network, but not necessarily what's in yours. It's a little kind of convoluted to think of, but it's basically everybody who you are not connected to that your connections are connected to, which is a whole bunch of words, but it's as good as I can do. 3 plus is people who are totally outside your network. None of your connections are connected to them, but you can still reach out to them and connect with them on a regular, or connect with them. However, you have to be careful with the amount of connections you seek, because LinkedIn tends to put a spam limit on that. So go easy on that portion. That's what I mean by third degree, second degree, and first degree connections. Page analytics. This is what you can understand about the professional traits of your page visitors and followers, and what types of contents they engage with the most. So LinkedIn has done a much better job recently, in the recent years, of kind of showing you what's working for your page and what's not working for your page. You can see this trend line, desktop versus mobile. So you know more along the lines who you're working with, who your main contributors are, all that kind of stuff. Just gonna do one more. Oh, it seems we've got like some questions. So
we do. I'm looking up one of them right now. So the first one, David, is: does the business page require a paid subscription to LinkedIn?
No, it's just like Facebook in that it's quote unquote free. You're probably paying through it with data, but no, you do not have to pay for it out of your pocket.
I'm going to let you do the second one, and I'm going to come back because I'm Googling this. I'm
Sure.
an independent contractor, and our company has a LinkedIn page. Can I also create a business page, or not, since our company already has one?
So since your company already has a business page, I think I understand the question. So you are basically an independent contractor of that company, is kind of what you're saying. Yes, you can create a separate page. However, I'd be careful that your page does not overtake their page, or that people don't get confused between the two, because you don't want people who are just interested in your general organization going to your page, and vice versa. So kind of weigh the cons and pros of each. I personally wouldn't, but if you think it's necessary and can kind of differentiate you amongst the others, then you can create a second page.
If that didn't answer your question, you can do a follow-up. The other one that's here, that is: so creating a follow me button requires a professional installation. Can you explain? So there is on LinkedIn instructions to create a follow me button, and it's just like putting in your Google Analytics or your Pixel. It gives you a piece of JavaScript that needs to be installed on your website. So if you have a web developer, you can send that code to him, and he should be able to put it on your page.
Yeah, that's a better explanation of it. So yeah, it's just coding that stuff that I do not know, and it's something that I would send to either Virginia or Leslie to do on my behalf because I don't know what I'm doing with that
Right.
stuff.
So it's just LinkedIn helps you the HTML code. You provide it to, or you can have your developer do it, and they just put it on your website.
Yep, that's it. Good for now.
If that's all the questions for now, we can move along,
Cool.
David.
Sounds good. Okay, so tips and ideas. So this is more along the lines of best practices, just to give you an idea of what you can be doing on your LinkedIn business page. The first is to encourage your employees to connect with your company's LinkedIn page. As I had mentioned before, your employees can be your most valued advocates. So after you create the page, or if you already have the page created, I would recommend sending out an email to all the employees to follow the page and also say that they're an employee of your organization. It's employees can be your best advocate. Okay, oh, my bad, went too far. The other thing I want to point out is always publish valuable content. The best way to grow your audience and keep your followers is to provide them with value by posting articles or company updates on a regular basis. LinkedIn recommends at least once per weekday. So that would be 5 times a week. I'm no math major, but I think that's 5 times a week. And this goes for any kind of social media platform. You want to post content that your customers or followers or connections or whatever would find interesting and stuff that adds value to their lives. You do not want to post stuff that wouldn't really apply to your organization or wouldn't really apply to your industry. But if there's an article that you created or that you see that someone else has created that you think your followers would like to see, by all means share it. And LinkedIn again recommends about 1 time every weekday. So that's 5 per week. Again, as I had mentioned, LinkedIn groups, a powerful way to interact with people. Being an active participant in a LinkedIn group can help you and your business network with other professionals and businesses in your field, especially those outside of your immediate circle of current and present colleagues, classmates, and employers. Participating in a group discussion will also attract views to your company's page. So after you have associated yourself with your LinkedIn account, after your LinkedIn page, you can interact with in different group discussions, the groups that I had mentioned that exist on LinkedIn, several thousand. And when people see that you're interacting with a group and they kind of hover over your name, they could see that you are associated with your organization. LinkedIn analytics. LinkedIn's research shows that posts tend to get the most engagement in the morning, followed by posts published after business hours. This is a good starting point when planning your publishing or schedule, but what works for the average business may not work for yours. So my recommendation is to test everything. If you really want to do quote unquote some damage on LinkedIn and make some progress with it, you always want to test. You want to make sure that what you are doing is working. You don't want to go into any social media platform blindly. You want to establish some base analytics, which LinkedIn provides, and then kind of see what's resonating with them and what's not. So you can, with LinkedIn analytics, you can understand what content your followers are most likely to engage with, understand your follower demographics, and track traffic and activity on your company page. Now, the other way that you can interact with LinkedIn is paid. And when I say paid, I mean you are advertising on the LinkedIn platform. I'm not going to get into the different types of LinkedIn ads that exist, but they've done, as I had mentioned, they've done a better job of beefing up their advertising as of late. And they offer a whole bunch of different ways that you can interact with different people. One of which you probably see all the time, and you may be confused as to why you are seeing it, are the in-mail messages. Those are sent from people who you have no connection to, but they paid LinkedIn to be able to send you a message that you see that you may or may not want to see, that's a form of LinkedIn advertising. They also offer basic standard kind of as you scrolling through the feed ad posts, and several other different options. I'm just going to focus on the general aspect of things. Choose the words that catch the attention of your target audience. So creating compelling content again. People use LinkedIn to gain unique insights relevant to their professional skills. So put yourself in the audience shoes as you create your ads. And the same thing goes for organic or non-paid advertisements. Give people a reason to take notice and click the ad by highlighting white papers, free trials, unique benefits, or demos. White papers is basically just kind of a way to show off you know what you're talking about in a document, but you want to give people value on your LinkedIn ad. You want them to see that they're getting something out of it as well, not just you pushing content or pushing your agenda on them. You should also include a strong call to action phrase on your ad, such as try, download, sign up, or request a quote. Always include an image with your ad so that it's relevant and that is relevant to what you offer. LinkedIn background color is neutral, so images with bright colors are more likely to capture the attention of your audience. And as I mentioned earlier, you can narrow your target audience to people who may be interested in what you offer, instead of painting a very broad brush and basically going after everybody. And you would essentially be wasting your dollars. You wouldn't get much out of that. And for those of you who remember my Facebook pages or Facebook advertising presentation, they offer the too small, broad, and just right sort of to give you an idea of where you're at with how many people you're reaching. With LinkedIn, they suggest a range of 60,000 to 600,000 for your target audience when running text ad campaigns. So it's kind of further down the line of a basic LinkedIn account, but LinkedIn will give you sort of a range of how many people will see your ad. And they recommend a range of 60,000 to 600,000. Any more, you're probably getting your ad to people who may not want to see it. Any little, and you're not attracting too many. Okay, and on that note, I know we covered a lot of information.
We covered a lot, and there's some questions in here.
Sure.
So one of them is a follow-up to the following button. Is there a similar button to use in emails or constant contact? If you want me, I can take that, David.
Yes, yes, please do.
They're providing you some HTML code. So you can certainly, if you're using HTML emails or in constant contact, they have a new HTML block. If you can get someone to put that code in to your template, it would always be in your template. So yeah, it's not going to be as a drop and drag thing, but if you have someone who can help you with that, you should be able to embed that in your emails that come out of Outlook or your email that comes out of Constant Contact.
Yep.
So the next one,
mm-hmm.
Now I want a caveat that I have not done it, but I truly believe it's possible. You answered this in further on after he asked it, or Donna asked it, I'm sorry. Is there a good time to post during the business day, like 8 a.m. or 12 noon? So you just want to go over that again?
Sure, I can absolutely do that. What I would recommend is, as I had mentioned, to always test things, and let me kind of get my paper because I forgot the range that I did. So LinkedIn offers or recommends that you post most often in the morning, I believe, or late evening, but test. So you can push content out there one time a day and always figure out what time works best for the followers who work for you. What I would recommend doing is pick one time either in the morning or later in the evening. Stick with it for a couple weeks, look at LinkedIn page analytics, and then kind of adjust based on what you're finding. If you're finding there's not a lot of interaction when you post in the morning, try posting a little later, or vice versa. If you're finding that there's a lot of interaction with posting in mid-afternoon, continue to post in mid-afternoon. LinkedIn will offer you some benchmarks in terms of what you can look for, essentially.
Okay. If you have followers, is there a way to ask them what type of interesting information they would like to have you post? And then she puts like a monkey survey, with Survey Monkey. So, but I would say, does LinkedIn have polls, David?
So no, they do not have a polls post yet, but utilizing kind of what you already described, you can use a Survey Monkey. You can absolutely link to a Survey Monkey poll. Or and just to make it easier, if you want to keep them on the LinkedIn scroll, you could just ask them in a post and just be like, what is the content that you would like to see in a public post, and see what they come back with. It doesn't necessarily have to be a very formal standardized poll. It could just be a basic post on LinkedIn to see what your audience is looking for.
Excellent answer. Long question. You ready?
Yep.
If I am a one-person business, I'm a
Okay.
specialty consultant. Does it really make sense to have a business page? You were talking a lot about employees, and I'm wondering if a business page is intended primarily for a larger business. I guess I'm asking if I can use my personal page to promote my business name as well as myself equally well. My business name is what would draw the audience.
So if the business name is what would draw the audience, then I would recommend creating a business page. It would be beneficial, and the last sentence kind of is what sent me to that conclusion. People know you for your page and for your business name. It would make sense to create a business page, because you don't want to create a kind of a LinkedIn profile that is for a business. LinkedIn profiles are for personal profiles. They're for you, what you find interesting, all that kind of stuff. A business page is more along the lines of what you're looking for an organization. And you can advertise. There's a lot more things you can do with a business page on LinkedIn than there is with a profile. Now, with that being said, if you just want to keep it on your personal profile where you're updating your connections on your business, that's totally up to you. It depends on how much time you're willing to put into it. But I do see some benefits creating a business page.
I'd like to follow up on that, David. You should always create the business separate from the personal, because if you don't, there's going to be a time when they're intertwined and you don't want them to be. And then you have this big intertwined mess that you can't get out of. I would always suggest you have the business page, Dave, just like you said.
Yep. Any other questions?
I don't see. This is going to be your last chance for questions here. David, you gave us a lot of information.
Tons.
Would you stop your screen share and let me put up my ending slide then?
I will do that. There you go. I think I did it.
You did. You did great.
Okay, good.
I'm going to go to my end slide while I wait for anyone. So we really appreciate you being with us on Fridays for Learning. We have 2 more coming up on the 29th and the 5th. You can go to the Weiskopf Education Consulting Education page and sign up for those. Any previous webinars, including this one, will end up on our YouTube channel. Won't end up there today, probably by Monday. So you can re-watch and check and find out if you misunderstood or needed to check one fact that you didn't take notes on. And we're always available for questions. You can do David at Weiskopf Consulting if you have a specific question for him, or you can send it to me. We appreciate your time on a Friday morning. And if no one else, I'm going to give you one more second here. If anyone wants to ask a question before we leave. No questions. David, you did a great job.
Thank you. Appreciate
your
it.
expertise is always, oh, yep, someone says here, thanks for a great webinar. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
So you have a great Friday and a great holiday weekend. Hopefully there'll be some sunshine for us to get outside and be safe. Talk to you soon.
Everybody take care. Talk to you.
Bye.